Hi friends, it's Wednesday morning, it's early. It's like 7:30. I've been up since 10 after 4. Hence, this is from an allergy attack from my cat. I don't get them often. I am technically allergic, but they're my friends and I will never get rid of them, and I don't want to take Benadryl because it makes me tired, more tired. So I'm just dealing with it by not touching them right now and not touching my eyes. But I just wanted to do sort of like a little early morning no makeup ramble to prove that I'm not always trying to be a glamour girl or that I care that much about how I look. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just want to kind of come here and sit and chat and maybe get a little message out. I was pretty salty in my last video, but I don't really have any regrets. I meant every word of it. But I don't like when I can let somebody, a total stranger, get under my skin to that degree to where I lash out and start cursing and all that. But and also just giving trolls the attention, which is exactly what they want. So I fell for it. Somebody says something ignorant like that to me, I should just laugh at it and say, "Wow, that individual knows really absolutely nothing about reality. Wow, that's attractive. Check that out. I'm a unicorn in my hair. Uh, I got my crazy funky like mermaid looking headband on with the reversible sequins. So fun to play with, actually. And this is a dress, tunic top dress from Holy Clothing. Crazy sleeves and laces up the back, and it has a hood. Wait, where's my hood? Sitting on my hood. I feel like I'm about to cast a spell or engage in like a cult ritual or something. I love this kind of clothing, though. It's not a costume. I would easily and definitely wear this out because it's funky and different, but it's a little bit tight around my waist. I don't know if I should return it for a bigger size or if I should just lose a few more pounds or just wear it tight. I should really invest in some Spanx. Hang on a minute. Oh my God. So, I'm a little sad this morning. Nick came by last night briefly, and we had a nice time. We had a nice chat. It was a quick visit, but we kind of had words toward the end. Not a fight, not an argument, just some things were said that, in my semi paranoia, I kind of took to heart too much. I don't want to vague book too much. I know it's really tacky to be like, something happened and I'm not going to tell you about it. I don't want to get into specifics because it's actually really kind of silly. Hang on a minute. But it's based on my second guessing him, second guessing myself, being insecure. I haven't dated anyone in a really long time, and I came out of a very dysfunctional, lopsided marriage. Very complicated, very, excuse me, pushing my thing back in. To use another popular YouTube phrase, problematic, messy. It was a problematic marriage, and I'm glad to be extricated from it now. Not 100% legally, but, I haven't lived with the man for over 5 years, so to me, that's almost like being divorced. And for those of you who question it or think I'm using my legal husband or taking advantage, it's not like that. We both benefit from not being completely divorced right now because of finances and because of health insurance and things like that. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not looking to marry Nick, neither is he. It's really not our end game at all. We just enjoy each other's company. We started as friends, and here we are. But I'm sad because he did message me briefly this morning. He texted me. He said he feels terrible about himself for hurting my feelings, and that we'll talk about it later, but he feels really bad toward himself. And he tends to beat himself up a lot anyway. I'm always building him up. I'm always like, we're not perfect. We are not perfect individuals. Nobody is. And no relationship is perfect. That's why honesty, communication, and a sense of humor is way up at the top of my list. If you don't have one or all of those things, you ain't getting with me, baby. and and I'm certainly a hot mess. I'm nobody's idea of a picnic or an easy person because of my various issues and disorders. But at least I have insight. At least I will admit it and be open about it. So that's to my credit, I think. My I also did a weigh-in Wednesday, and I'm happy I was accountable to myself. I've been kind of stalled out for like 3 weeks now, even though I've been doing keto, but it hasn't been 100% keto, and the scale doesn't lie. So, um, and I have no problem admitting anymore my actual weight. I weigh, as of this morning, 248, 248.8. My ultimate goal is 185. I'd be really happy at 200, and I'd also be really happy at like 220. That's kind of my cutoff point where I stop looking decent, in my opinion, and having clothes fit well. I look good in like a 1X from Torrid or like a 14-16 in a regular store, and that's me at about 220. Right now I'm in like a 1X, sometimes 2X, 18, or a 20. So 248.8, but that's down from my high last year in December of like 271. So that's good. That was a bad time for me. That was a lot of depression, a lot of stress, eating a lot of carbs. So it's still pretty good. It's better than being what I was before. But I really got to get on the stick and get more strict about counting the carbs, using my carb manager app, and watching portion sizes because calories still do count with keto. You can have a meal full of protein and fat, but if it's a gigantic meal, you might not lose weight. I look really red and puffy this morning. I'm so sorry. Just keeping it real on a chilly, chilly Wednesday morning. We're supposed to have a ton of rain today, and the couch is being delivered, and the guys are going to remove either one or both of my chairs. I'm in like the club chair now, and over here is the tremendously scratched up recliner, which is still comfortable, but it's an eyesore, and it looks really, really bad, which is the same as an eyesore. But back to the weigh-in for a minute. I changed the batteries in my scale to make sure it was right, and then I grabbed my cat, my big Emily, who's laying over there on the windowsill. At her last weigh-in, she was 18 point something pounds, which is way too big for a cat, and now she's 15.4, so she has lost weight since I've cut their food rations down. I can't weigh her sister because she doesn't let me hold her. She's very affectionate and very sweet, and I can pet her until the end of the day, but I can't pick her up. I think she has some like childhood trauma issues or something. So my day today is going to be cleaning up the cottage. Luckily, I don't have to do laundry. I got that done. I don't have to do grocery shopping. Cleaned out the Jeep with my wonderful son, so that'll be ready to go for tomorrow. And I'm just super excited about the couch. I cannot wait, like I said before, to put a nice peacock throw blanket over the back of it because it's like a light teal, like a seafoam color. And throw pillows are always fun to go to Home Goods for, or Marshalls, or TJ Maxx. God help me. Oh, please don't let me buy too much in there. Well, Christmas is coming. So I got to vacuum my carpet and move things around a little bit to facilitate ease of entry. That sounded sketchy. But hopefully it won't be raining too hard. It's 100% chance of rain today, so it's going to happen. We're having some kind of a nor'easter up in these here parts. And we're supposed to be in for a brutal winter, which I'm not looking forward to. I get a very cold, chilly wind off the lake, and my pipes underneath the cottage freeze very easily because it's very poor insulation. These houses were not constructed to be year-round dwellings. They were meant to be little seasonal lake cottages for people as like a second home or just a vacation spot. But I still like it here. At the end of the day, I complain, but I do like it here. It's small, but who cares? It's just me and the furry girls, and Nick never complains. He's like, oh, it's so cozy, it's so quaint, it's so you. I hope he comes up out of his funk today. I've been sending him encouraging emails and texts, and, he gets kind of withdrawn when he starts feeling bad about things that he regrets saying, but, I regret saying things too, and that's part of being human. You gotta communicate with people. You've said this, you hurt me, I'm angry with you, but I love you, and let's talk about it. Otherwise, you burn down the whole village, you burn down the city. So I'm drinking my coffee with a little bit of super coffee in it. I use it like as a creamer. It's a coffee drink that's keto friendly. It's got coconut oil in it and protein, monk fruit sweetener. So I put a little bit in as a creamer. I have some nice chopped grass-fed beef. Whoops. That I'm going to make later on with some, I think, chopped up onions, mushrooms, and peppers, and possibly even stir in some Alfredo sauce. And I'm trying to go for almost like a keto stroganoff to put over spaghetti squash or cauliflower. Um, if I do go to the store later, my stomach just growled. If I do go to the store later, I'm going to stock up on a ton of frozen steamable vegetables because they save me. They save me during every meal. Filling up on cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, spinach. And I've got some bacon I have to use up. I tend to save the bacon fat and then I'll cook in that because that's keto allowed too. Still very strange notion when you think about it. Like, oh my God, I'm eating all this fat. But listen, my daughter has now lost 35 pounds. Looks amazing. My son yesterday told me I looked really good, which was so sweet to hear. It's so sweet to hear that from a son, you know. He's so effusive and affectionate and warm and so much more like me than his father. Just kidding. No, he has some very good qualities from his father. His father's not a bad guy. He's a very good dad. Always provides for them. Has helped me out in many a pinch with my car and stuff like that. And he's a very hard worker. So, you know, props to him for that. He's just not very emotionally accessible. And I'm a very emotionally needy person. I'll be the first in line to admit that. But yeah, so he said, my son, he said, oh, you look really good these days, Mom. And he told me he loved me 3 times. And he helped me clean up the Jeep. And then he was off back up to way upstate, almost in Canada, to go back to school for his senior year, his final year in environmental science. So he doesn't eat pork or beef anymore because of the whole carbon footprint thing. I'm not sure how a lot of that works, but it has to do with the ecology and the environment more than ethical or health reasons. But I'm happy to see his weight up a little bit because when we first brought him up to Plattsburgh, he was skinny as a rail. I'm like, why are you so skinny? I almost thought he had an eating disorder for a minute, but he's 6'2", between 6'1" and 6'2". Yeah, Lisa, that's 6'1" and a half. And he looks really good. He's got a good appetite, so I love to feed him. I'm a feeder. Lisa, my darling Lisa Daniels. I love you, and I've been catching up this morning when I couldn't sleep on your videos. I don't know which one you kind of like shouted me out in or mentioned my channel, but I do appreciate that, and I feel guilty for falling behind in my friends' videos. I've been busy just kind of living my life and not really working, but doing a lot of things with Nick and enjoying myself, which I've wanted to do for a really, really long time. You know, when I first met Michael, when I first started therapy, he was really concerned. He's like, you really overwork yourself. He goes, you're like on the verge of a breakdown. And I said, you know, I have to. I can't, I can't afford my life anymore. But hopefully, Nick said he's going to help me look over my budget. And no, that doesn't mean handing me an envelope of money. It means helping me with money management. You know, that's one of his fortes. And just to not worry so much. He goes, I don't want you to have to worry all the time. So I love him for that. And I don't think that that's like accepting a handout. I think that that's accepting someone's love and kindness and generosity, which I never had in my life. I take it back. I had a boyfriend many, many years ago who loved to buy me things, but it was kind of neurotic in a way. He was kind of trying to compensate for and sort of, I hate this phrase, but he was kind of trying to buy me a little bit, you know, like kind of keep me on the hook. I don't get that sense from Nick at all. He goes, one of the things I love about you is that you've never told me about how in need you were or that you struggle all the time. What are you doing? She's playing with the Chewy box. I got my my Chewy box and some new boots from Torrid yesterday. I haven't been doing a lot of unboxings or hauls because I don't want people thinking that I'm like spoiled or getting all this stuff lately. It's my own money. It's my own credit cards. It's my own stupid, obsessive shopping habits, really, if I'm honest. That's what it is. And I'm sure next month when all the bills come in, I'll regret it. I slept in a little bit of makeup last night, so I still at least have my eyebrows on. This is getting a little better. And what else did I want to chit-chat with you guys about? Just, I don't know, like a semi-apology for my rant last night. Sorry, not sorry, you know, but But the support and encouragement and love I get from some of you guys is very, very heartwarming to me. Thank you for being happy for me about the car. It still makes me nervous. I'm still anxious about it. It's a huge purchase. I've never bought a car in my life. I've had about 6 or 7 used or free cars that really seem economical at the time, but when you count up all the gas that you put into, you know, cars like the Jeep, which is 14 miles per gallon, which is a joke, and all the repairs, it's not worth it ultimately. I bought my Jeep in '09 or 10. I don't remember now. I think '09 was when I had my accident with the other car. So, and all I got for it was 5 grand. And so that was all I had to spend. So I bought this beater. And since then, since that 5,000 to buy it, I must have put at least 6 or 7 thousand into it. This past July, it got like $1,000 worth of brakes. And I've got no parking brake. The rear hatch is broken. Sometimes I go out and I back up off my driveway and I see big rusted out like springs underneath it. So I'm just saying all that to say, like, it's time for a new car. And I need something safe and reliable and very well spoken of in the Subaru community and in Consumer Reports. And I did my research, and I think I made a good choice with the Crosstrek. It was between that, a RAV4, a CRV, or the Impreza, which, like I said, was the first car I test drove. And then the salesman was like, "Oh my God, it's sold." I'm so embarrassed. So tomorrow, Nick and I are going to drop off the Jeep and pick up the Subaru. And I cannot believe I'm going to have this beautiful, shiny blue, like beautiful metallic blue, kind of like this blue, but like metallic in my driveway. It's really going to be wild. And it gets 33 miles per gallon. And what I'm most excited about really is that I'm going to feel much more confident in it, which will make it easier for me to drive to Milford to visit my family and grandchildren. I broke down 3 different times, one time in a blizzard driving there with the Jeep, and one time on the highway, which was horrific for me. After that, I got AAA, but my warranty now comes with unlimited roadside assistance for a year. And I got the insurance all squared away yesterday. I got it all transferred. And because I'm a good, safe driver with no points against me or tickets, I actually got a really good rate, even though it's a better car. So that's it for me for talking for 18 minutes now. And next time you see me, I'll be all pulled together. And I'll make myself some eggs or a chaffle. Lisa, let me know how you like the chaffles, if you've tried to make them yet. I have so many chaffle recipes. I should do like a cook with me, actually, show you guys how I make them. I usually do it pretty basic with, you put the shredded cheese on of your liking. I like a Mexican blend or like a Colby Jack. And then I whip up the egg with like a tiny smidgen of cream, sometimes with a little bit of ricotta, sometimes a teaspoon of almond flour if I want it to seem more waffly. And then I put the cheese on top, put it in my little Dash mini waffle maker, and it clicks off when it's done. But sometimes I smush it down to make it extra crispy. And I usually have one. In the morning, I smear some avocado spread on it, and I have it like avocado toast. Or if I make 2, if I'm really hungry, sometimes I've done this for a dinner or a lunch, I make like an additional egg sandwich using the chaffles as buns. It's very hearty, it's very filling, but I've got a bunch of recipes, including for like savory ones with herbs and stuff in it, and sweet ones like dessert chaffles. And for those, you really need to use mozzarella cheese because that has the least amount of flavor. Then, of course, cheddar and things like that. So that's generally what I have for breakfast, either scrambled eggs and bacon or avocado on a chaffle. I do sometimes miss cereal, and I think I would like to go on Amazon and maybe experiment with some of the keto cereal. I already showed you my recipe for the toasted coconut coconut flakes that taste like Frosted Flakes. Haven't made those in a while. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm glad I got my weigh in over with. I was really nervous. I get very anxious when I put that scale down and I'm like, oh, here we go. Make sure I pee first. Make sure I don't eat first. Take off all my clothes and stand there like an idiot naked in the middle of my kitchen. The cat's looking at me like, what are you doing? And am I next? So I'm hoping to talk to Nick later and clear the air. And the things we argue about at times are really stupid, but he's a Sagittarius, okay? He can sometimes lack tact. Even when his heart's in the right place, he sometimes doesn't always know that there's certain things like you don't say to women. Um, at his age, he should know better. And at my age, I should be more thick-skinned and not so freaking sensitive. Obviously, he cares very much for me, or he wouldn't be with me. And he's always complimenting me, and he's always got me up on a pedestal, and he thinks I'm amazing, and, he's not wrong. Kidding. But for those of you who have lasted this long with this boring ramble and who have watched me from day one, I appreciate you. I appreciate all 6 or 7 of you. And it's really not all that serious. I'm not here for a big production. I always say this. I'm not here for a bunch of subscribers or to ever get monetized or anything. I just, you know what? I am going to come back later, though, and read you a new poem, okay? I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me. Enjoy your hump day. Stay out of trouble. Bye.